Welcome to another game of Dota here. I'm Gorgon, your ever-lovely caster, bringing you Coleyx versus Chibiusa. Team Chibiusa. I'm pronouncing it correctly this time, everybody, so, give me a cookie or something for that. And we have Team Chibiusa sitting for some bans here. Let's see what they like to do. They do like to take out the Obsidian Destroyer, is what I've noticed in my past experience casting them. So let's see if that's a first open OD ban. There it is. Coleyx I've never seen play before, so it's hard to call the bans. A Wisp comes out. Often teams that ban the Wisp like to ban the Batrider. They play straight from the TI3 playbook, essentially. Wisp and Batrider not being banned out that much anymore on the pro circuit, especially in Western Dota. Still banned out a little bit more often in Eastern Dota. And that is because Alliance is not scared of them anymore. As they said at the International, we're not scared of Wisp now. And at this point in time, they're essentially just letting the Wisp and Batrider slide. And they have been banning out maybe some of the OD and some of the Naga Siren. They ban or pick Naga Siren almost every match. And essentially on the heels of Alliance, the meta is changing. So Coleyx playing with a very TI3 opening ban. We'll see if they stick with a very TI3 draft. There's the Batrider that I thought would happen. So we are looking at a team that might be stuck a few weeks in the past, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Those were, of course, strong strategies, and we'll see if they are pulling from the same playbook or not. And we'll see if Team Chibiusa is able to read that. There's that Abaddon. Chibiusa loves to first pick this Abaddon. They've first picked or first banned him every game that I've cast him today. At least, I think this is the third game, but it's all kind of blending together for me. And honestly, I still don't see the appeal of the first pick, first ban on the Abaddon, just because you don't see him picked or banned by most teams. So you could probably let that slide to your third or fourth pick and almost be guaranteed him. In addition, last game, while that Abaddon player did a great job with his Vedic Shields and his Mist Coils, was not the hero that I would say swung the game in their favor. They definitely could have won that last game without an Abaddon pick. So if Abaddon did end up getting banned or picked by some fluke of a team that kind of has their finger on the same pulse that Chibiusa does, I think that many of Chibiusa's strategies work without the Abaddon. But every team has their love. I personally am big on the first pick, first ban Treant Protector. Not a lot of people have jumped on that boat lately, at least, though he was kind of first pick, first ban material for a little while. Oh, Weaver. And the immediate Weaver counter pick. I love this pick out of Coleyx. Darkseer, Gyrocopter, two extremely high tier picks. The vacuum into the wall, into the call down? Yep, call down, I believe. Yeah, mixing up my names a little bit. Vacuum into wall, into call down, slowing everybody down, getting the entire team into one place, and doing maximal damage to them. That combo is one of the more potent combos in the game. We might be seeing a Rubik pickup out of Team Chibiusa here. Not only do they have a stand-in, F, who is extremely good at the Rubik, I would say MVP for their last game. But he's a great pick against both a Gyrocopter and a Darkseer. No, and there's the Rubik ban. Very nice ban coming out of Coleyx. Knowing the score, they know that a stolen call down, a stolen rocket barrage, a stolen even Surge, Ion Shell, or Vacuum can turn a game in a moment. So, Shadow Demon coming out. We could probably expect to see a Shadow Demon. I want to say Shadow Demon Lina, Gyrocopter, Tri-Lane. That is, once again, very meta of over the last summer. Not as common anymore, but Coleyx's draft, I mean, they banned the Keeper of the Light as well. Who we don't usually see played very often anymore, though he was a first-tier pick ban back in the spring. So they are playing with a little bit of an aged playbook, and we'll see if Chibiusa is prepared for this, or if they have already forgotten those antiquated plays. Definitely a style that I would say the style of last spring is probably my favorite meta of the last year or so. And so I do like the retro picks here. but it does make you a little bit easy to predict. Hopefully they do something new with old picks. Puck pick for Chibiusa coming out, and that's going to be Misha the mid, almost certainly. The mid for Coleyx, not picked yet, but one of the only mids who does really well against a puck and kind of guarantees a win, semi-guarantees a win, is that OD. And OD banned out. A silencer mid can also do well against a puck for maybe 3 or 4 levels, but after a little while, phase shift is just, it ends up wrecking the silencer. His ability to do damage. So I have seen silencer mid work really well against the puck, but you need to win your lane very early and start rotating out 5-man and take towers. Shadow Fiend, not the pickup I'd expect, seems to be coming into the meta a little bit more. I'm finding out today. I've not seen a whole lot of him basically in the last 6-8 months, and I've seen him twice today on 2 different teams nonetheless. So we could be looking at a Shadow Fiend resurgence, or maybe it's just an availability heuristic. I am not positive, but what I do know is that should be a fun mid to watch. Shadow Fiend versus Puck. I would have to give the edge to a Puck who's going to be able to have rune control. He's going to be able to harass down that Shadow Fiend, and he is going to be able to have a fair amount of safety doing his denies and doing his last hits with an orb jaunt combo, keeping him safe. There is a Nyx assassin. Not Nyx assassin. Wow, excuse me. A lifestealer, the Nyx band coming out of Coleyx. And once again, they seem to have a pretty good sense of what Chibiusa needs to do here. A Vengeful Spirit, a Puck, and a Weaver all lifestealer bomb incredibly well. Also, a farming carry is presumably needed unless that Weaver is going to take that slot, which has been happening. Of course, Coleyx seems to be once again playing out of a slightly older playbook, so they might not be expecting that Weaver to do a hard carry, and I think that Weaver in this position probably could. You could semi-carry the Vengeful Spirit, you could hard carry the Weaver, and go for a win at about 25 minutes, which is basically the aggressive style that Chibiusa seems to like. They like to secure their games by 20 minutes, and they like to wrap up by 30. Get home for dinner, say hi to the wife and kids. So we will see what everyone thinks about that strategy idea. Taking a long time here on their remaining pick. We are going to be looking for a support. I would, once again, I'm expecting Alina here. The Jack would have been a great pick, but Jack's obviously banned out. Lesh would be a decent pick if you want push, but I think early game kill potential with the Gyrocopter, Shadow Demon, and Alina is fantastic. Nyx Assassin would have been great, but also banned out, as it turns out. I didn't notice that until right when I said it. Shadow Demon is, in my opinion, the most underrated support in the game. Probably my favorite support to play. One of my favorite supports to scene play. A hero that's not difficult to play, but scales extremely well with skill, and combos extremely well with any hero who is aggressive, or any hero who needs a moment for defensive repositioning. Shadow Shaman. Good support, does not combo as well with Shadow Demon as a lot of other supports, because Shackle doesn't need a setup. Shadow Demon can come around behind. I'm going to go ahead and use my... If this is our map, and this is our lane, which I make the assumption that Shadow Shaman, Shadow Demon, Gyro is going to be a safe lane. This is our lane. Shadow Demon can come around the outside of these trees here and disrupt, and then Shadow Shaman can walk up and very easily get a shackle.
I speak for the trees.
On whatever hero they want. And that Nature's Prophet is going to semi-carry as well. He's going to off lane and probably end up doing a... I'm assuming that's going to be a Desolator / Lothar, Shadowblade. Nature's Prophet to go along with the Carry Weaver. And I get the feeling that Team C here is maybe caught a little off guard by the lack of a traditional carry pickup, because they don't seem to be super... Or maybe they're quite aware of what's going on in the current meta, and they just don't think it's the right direction. We'll see if they're prepared for this, though. This is going to be an off lane. And somebody did grab Dust, I saw. That's the Vengeful, or Smoke, excuse me, of Deceit. So expect to see some early action here. We are going to see the defensive tri-lane from both teams, I assume. Yeah, this is going to be Ward bottom. There. Let me go ahead and see if I can get some of this. There's going to be a pause, and I'm going to take that opportunity. Oh, whoopsie. Excuse me here. I'm still getting used to the caster controls. Normally, my wonderful co-caster, Super J, who is unavailable at the current moment, does all the computer controls. So I am a little bit weak on this, but I appreciate you sticking with me. We are paused still. Go on and take a look at our opening items, and I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I can find my caster controls here. Not sure where I can pull them up. I used to know. Nope. 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 Combat log. Nope. Shared unit control. Nope. Nope. Okay. Anyway, let's run through our players, and we'll leave my incompetence for another day. I'll basically outline for you where the vision is, when it becomes important. And so, for the Radiant side, we have Jacqueline on the Darkseer. We've got Papa Burr on the Gyro Counter. We got May on the Shadow Demon. Tribute to Jordan on the Shadow Shaman. I wonder if that's Jordan the person or Jordan the nation. And we have Ultra Grey Bobo on the Shadow Fiend mid. And there's another pause, and Jacqueline asking for a little bit of patience. And it looks like Chibiusa happy to give it to him. I'm happy to give them to him as well, so we can continue running through. We've got Misha running the mid. We've got Link Dota on the Nature's Prophet off lane. We have Abaddon, or Tabo on the Abaddon. Weaver played by Extravagant, and F the stand-in playing Vengeful Spirit. I've been really impressed with the stand-in's play. His support sense, his sense of ability, and his decisions to go in and not go in have been absolutely stellar, especially for a stand-in who presumably doesn't get to scrim with this team all the time. So I've got to say, yeah, big shout out to F. Extremely good play. Keep doing support, buddy. It's a very hard role to fill, and you're doing an extremely good job. For anybody who's interested in just the Dota community, it is worthwhile to mention that Bucking Mad, formerly I believe Quantic player. I should look that up before I embarrass myself here. Anyway, Bucking Mad support or carry player. Yes, he is Quantic. Thank you, Obscurity. We do have a ward going up. Yeah, Bucking Mad Quantic carry did manage to. We've got an ETA question out of Misha. Nothing really to say here. Published a blog, a 2-part blog going out last week about the importance of support and why support players are extremely valued in the pro scene, more valued than any other type of player. If you're interested in the pro scene and insider scoop, and maybe if you're a Dota player who's thinking about becoming a little more into the competitive scene, maybe thinking about getting a little more diverse, and you're wondering what is the best direction for you to go, teams always need good supports. So my recommendation as a humble caster is go ahead, learn your support. It's difficult to learn, but the skills that you learn in it kind of magnify across all areas of the game. And as Bucking Mad has pointed out, they're extremely valued on the pro and semi-pro scene, just the competitive scene in general. Finding somebody who can farm, fairly easy. Finding somebody who can farm and rotate, harder. But finding somebody who can rotate and kill and basically strong support without any sort of farm and have the map sense, very rare. So basically work on that if you're looking for something to work on and you're looking to get more competitive. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of our items while we have this pause. This is going to be a early Midas coming out of this Nature's Prophet. He got the clarity, and he does have treants going down. He's going to use one of these treants to block this camp. He's going to use one of these treants to scout this rune, or this ward spot. Maybe not, actually. They do have a ward up. Here, excuse me. There's a ward up from both teams. Turtle ward and the ledge ward. And Joaquin is ready. No problem, man. It looks like we're going to have our game underway. So this, maybe not, but I would still expect this to come down and deny a rune if it comes here. Just attack it to get rid of it. Or at least protect it. That is the direction it's going. It seems to be coming down here. So unless he's wrapping it around to block another camp, or to block this camp from another direction, that is essentially where we're going to expect. He's not going to check Roche with it. There is not a level 1 Roche team coming out of the C. Did not manage to deny that rune. There is a Shadow Shaman invis, but they should be aware of it. They did see it, and... Oh, I see what he's doing. He's actually hoping to pull. He's got one here, one here. He's not going to pull. I was wrong. Let me get Skype out of the way here. All right. Yeah, he is just double blocking it. So my original sense was we actually did. There's an immediate shackle coming out of the invis, and Link Dota should have known that that was going to come. He doesn't have any regen here, consumables anyway. Got to be careful. And Shadow Shaman is going to try and burst down these treants, but I assume Nature's Prophet is just going to block this camp, get level 2, and go over to the jungle. That's typically what we see coming out of the offlane Nature's Prophets who do, you know, strong camp blocking. Block the camp. He's going to try and drag some of these creeps around. Get them at his tower. Kill them off. Get level 2. And he'll probably, at that point in time, he cleared it up. So probably Nature's Call. Block this camp one more time for good measure. And jump. My good friend Brand is popping on for some Dota here. Alright. So he'll probably then jump to the jungle and just not contest this farm. Gyrocopter, I'm not sure where he took all this damage. He's just been tanking creeps. Doing a little YOLO, or as we like to say, Carpe Diem farming. And, not sure I agree with this. He doesn't have any consumables either. Couldn't have been Nature's Prophet. He's been back with the clarity. And his treants have been dragging. Or trying to, at least. Maybe he's not going to jump. He's got to be real careful here. There's going to be a rocket barrage. That, Gyro trying to do as much harassment as he can. And that is going to do it. That's a first blood. A beautiful play out that Gyrocopter. Who knew that he wasn't going to get the rocket barrage range off. Ooh, there's that smoke that we were talking about. There's a rotation. They're not going to get first blood here because first blood was just taken. But hopefully they can take down this Shadow Fiend. Get his soul count nice and low and allow this puck almost a guaranteed win in this lane. They're waiting here. They want to move in, but the lane's not pushing out. And Shadow Fiend has seen him. There's going to be the stun out of... No! And we are going to see the Darkseer come around. Darkseer has rotated back down from the offlane. He's got to back up to this lane. He's losing a lot of experience being away during this creep. All these creeps are dying to the tower. This is the entirety of his farm, essentially. The nature of offlaning is you wait for a 3-wave, 4-wave push, and you get as much of those creeps to survive to your tower as possible, and you just stand there, farm as many of them as you can. It's the only way for you to get your levels on offlane. And Darkseer didn't end up doing that, and now the Vengeful Spirit coming back up. Darkseer doesn't have vision of this, but he does have a sense of it, and he is backing up. A nice rotation out of that Darkseer probably wasn't necessary because the Vengeful Spirit was unable, and that is that F stand-in. The F was not able to get in range for a secure stun. The lane just didn't push out far enough, and so that gank attempt not working out, and Bulbasaur, Ultra Gay Bulbasaur, playing pretty well there, staying in his tower, even if he wasn't aware. I bet his map senses were tingling a little bit. And Nature's Prophet is just kind of standing back here. Level 3, he's got teleport. He could go into the jungle now and get his Midas if he wanted to. He is clearly doing a Midas build. He got his Glove of Haste to open, and he has not been creeping with that at all because he's been forced back into the tower. He is dragging them around, but Shadow Shaman making it hard for him. It's just not doing enough, and he's having a lot of trouble down here. This Gyrocopter, this Gyrocopter, sitting at low health all the time, been given a consumable by one of his supports. There's really no reason for this Gyrocopter to be taking as much damage as he is. He's farming well. He's sitting on top of 21 at 4.5 minutes, which is pretty impressive. Especially considering there have been no polls, really, or maybe one poll. I've not had my eye on the lane the entire time. Not a lot of polling coming out. But he should be changing the aggro. Whenever those creeps go on him, he should be attack moving onto one of his allied heroes or creeps and causing the creeps to aggro off him. Rocket Barrage doesn't cause aggro to go on him. And if he waits for the creeps to attack his creep wave, the Flat Cannon doesn't cause aggro either, so there's really no reason for him to be perpetually as low as he is. Shadow Demon going to go ahead and disrupt. Amp damage. There's the chicken. There's going to be a shackle too. That's a dead Twitch. And Sorry, Link Dota's here in the fountain, bud. Link Dota down 2 deaths. And Gyro up 2 kills. Shadow Shaman not getting any assists for those, despite the fact that he has been integral to both of them. Hate to see that for supports. Not getting quite as much out of it as he could be, but his team is getting a big farm burst for the Puck, who is winning his lane a little bit. Of course, Puck doesn't get going as much as Nevermore gets going. Nevermore, to really have considered won this lane, he doesn't need the highest CS. He just needs to get his souls up. If he doesn't die and does farm well enough, it doesn't matter if he's down 10-15 CS. He will still have done well enough in this lane to be a terror mid-game. So, we already saw 1 rotation attempt. I'm willing to bet we're going to see another one soon. If you don't kill that Shadow Fiend early, mid-game is going to be terrible until you kill him 2 or 3 times, get those souls back down. There is an Invis Rune here, fortuitous. And Puck wants it for the bottle, and he does take it for the bottle. Honestly, I probably would have handed the bottle over to the Vengeful Spirit. Let the Vengeful Spirit pop the Invis and hand the bottle back so that he can come in for the stun. Puck has a haste, which is causing Shadow Fiend to play really defensively here, and Vengeful might not have an opportunity to get a stun. There's the Dream Coil, and he walks straight out of it. There is a nice defensive disruption. Nice rotation out of... There's the amp damage, but it's not going to amount to much. Very nice rotation coming out of the supports. May and Tribute to Jordan. As far as warding goes, we do have an aggressive ward coming out here, giving this Shadow Fiend the ability to Shadow Raise perfectly onto this Puck if he wants to. That's what that ward is for, and I haven't had my eye on here so much the whole game, so I won't guarantee that it has had the impact on being able to harass Misha down, because he is sitting on full. Of course, he is bottle running. But some talks to Gyro is having some troubles, it looks like. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a disconnect for Gyro. And that is a very sportsmanlike pause. I love to see that coming out of Chibiusa or any team. See that somebody disconnects, pause it for them, ask them what's up, see if the player's coming back. Don't just try to take advantage of it. Give them at least a moment. You don't have to wait the whole game, but give them a moment. So, while we're paused here, I just want to thank you all for tuning in. And just go ahead and pump my own stuff here. You can go and check us out at Twitch TV/BrokenLink Productions. You can go to www.abrokenlink.com to check out a blog that I run on all sorts of gaming topics, not just Dota, and comics and movies, all sorts of stuff. We do have a regular podcast out on iTunes as well, and we are in the process of putting together a Dota-specific weekly podcast, too, to keep you up in touch with all of your Dota 2 pro news. That should be up sometime next week or the following week, and I'll keep you guys updated on our Twitter account and our Facebook, which is facebook.com/BrokenLink, and at BrokenLink Media on Twitter. So say hi. Shoot us a link, like us. We love you for it. And normally I do have a co-caster, Super J, but he is otherwise occupied today. I believe he is making a trip to the top of Kilimanjaro, though I might be misquoting there. He may just be playing some Dota or otherwise occupied. So, we do have the reconnect, and I expect to see some more Dota coming out here. Like I was saying, this Nevermore doesn't really need to win this lane if he doesn't get ganked. He has a bottle, but he's not going to be able to win any of the runes because of Orb Jaunt. Puck is going to be able to get every rune that he wants as long as he's got vision, which they do. There's no counter warding coming out. And we've got some pings. There is going to be some movement over onto... There's a nice aggressive ward coming out of Abaddon, but they know it's there. There's a lot of pinging going on, and Shadow Shaman's going to immediately counter ward that, probably. Here it comes. Plop. No. No counter ward? Yeah, there it is. Okay. I don't know why he ran to the low ground. Now he's going to take longer. If he just counter warded it up here, it would be dead already. And he ends up walking up to the high ground anyway. Silly little play from the Shadow Shaman. Doesn't really amount to much problem. Abaddon's pausing the game now. We're still having some lag issues for the Gyro. I will admit, I was having some server issues with Dota while I was trying to get onto the cast as well. So, we could just be seeing some server Dota issues. It could be his home connection or the LAN center connection wherever he is playing. We do hope him the best. We want this to be a nice, fair game. I want to go ahead and take a look at some of our items here while we're waiting. We do have Joaquin sitting on top of his Soul Ring. Phase Boot's already up on Papa Burr. So Papa Burr This is not a Naga Siren game, so it's hard to call. I kind of expect him to go Black King Bar in this game. It would help again. The thing with the Black King Bar is it doesn't help against the Vengeful Spirit swap, but it does help against... Well, you know, honestly, there's not that much for it to help against, really. So maybe he's just not going to go for it. It helps against that long stun coming out of Vengeful Spirit, and that's pretty much it. And a miscoil, if that comes in. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and retract that statement. If he goes Black King Bar, it wouldn't be the worst call in the world, but I think where he's going now, which is probably going to be in early, there's going to be the G call. He's probably going to go for that early Helm of the Dominator. Out of the phase boots, get a wand, and also go ahead and grab himself a Yasha into a Manta style. That's probably the route we're going to see. Maybe not in that specific order, but the items we would expect. He is farming himself to death over here. We're playing 1800s Dota. Stay in the fields until you collapse. And he has a rotation coming on him. An Invis Puck who does not have the Orb Jaunt. He cast it there. I didn't get an animation on that. That was weird, but he missed it. If that had hit Gyro, Gyro would have been dead. So Gyro now forced to walk back, and he'll TP back out, I assume. He is sitting on top of 1,700 gold. As far as the rest of the items, not a whole lot to talk about. We do have a Weaver with Hanamitis, which confirms that that is the carry Weaver, as though there were any question about it. And level 6 Nature's Prophet still doesn't have his Midas up. Sitting at 8 minutes in a game with the Midas out already. If he doesn't get that up soon, let's take a look at his gold. Only 400 left before he gets it. If he doesn't get it up in the next minute or two, he's really going to want to just skip that item and move on. Call it a loss. He's not going to be able to keep up with a Shadow Fiend or a Gyrocopter and do the damage he needs to do if he goes Midas first at 12 minutes or something like that. So if he dies again, and he is sitting down at, what, 250 health, maybe less? Yeah, 250. Wow, I have him open. I could have just looked. He is sitting down at 2. There is some damage coming out of this puck. He can Orb Jaunt if he needs to. He does... Yeah. Nevermore probably could have gotten that kill there. He has a haste. He was being aggroed by the tower, but the creeps were in range. So he could have gotten one last auto attack on the puck. Changed aggro over to the creeps, which would have had run in by that time, and then run out. I didn't want to dive it. I can't say... Oh, that was a melee creep dead. I had a melee creep selected for some reason. Yeah, probably could have gotten that kill. I'd say a little bit of a misplay, but I'd always rather see a carry miss a shady call than go in on a shady call and die. Especially when you're having as good as an early game as this Shadow Fiend is. Weaver is getting going. He is top of the board, but he's only one above the Gyro, who is farming in a very interesting way, basically beating his face against the creeps as hard as he can until they die, but it's working for him. And Weaver's not going to be able to outcarry a Gyro and a Shadow Fiend by himself, especially not if they're both equally farmed as him. They really, really either need to gank this Bulbasaur, or they need to get their Shadow Fiend, or excuse me, their Nature's Prophet going. He has enough for his Midas right now, and he has bought it right now. That 1400 disappeared. He needs to jump into the jungle immediately. This tower is done. There's nothing left to defend. He needs to jump into that jungle immediately, grab a big creep. Getting some Skype noises, not sure why. There's the silence. There is going to be the Orb Giant. He's coming around to body block, but oh, a very nice play. And there's the, oh, it's not going to be enough. Oh, he's going down anyway. Oh, if he breaks it though, yeah, it goes down. The Nature's Prophet coming in, and he's going to feed here. Okay, there's the trade. Not too bad for Bulbasaur. Getting a double kill, traded off one. Nature's Prophet having a rough game. Yeah, forget that player's name. Link Dota. Twitch TV/Link_Dota. If you want to follow that player, go ahead and do so over there. He's having a lot of trouble just getting going here in the off lane. Granted, the off lane is hard, and they have rotated the Abaddon to take this lane. Honestly, they might have wanted to do this a little bit earlier. That Abaddon, by the nature of Photic Shield, or Photic Shield? A Photic Shield, can hold his own in an off lane. He's not my first pick for an off laner, especially against the Shadow Demon. That's exactly why. This is going to be the call down. He's going to Photic Shield himself, but his ult anyway. No, his ult is not. Shadow Demon does get the puck there. Puck going down. We're sitting on 5-2 Radiant's favor. Radiant also taking towers, and they have the better late game. We really need to see this Nature's Prophet get going. And he is going into the jungle. He is farming with Treants simultaneously. He's not going to... His Midas is on cooldown, yeah. Okay. Gyrocopter is trying to take out this Weaver, but he doesn't have any wards, so it's not going to amount to too much. Let's take a look at our hero levels. Hero levels. Bam, right here. 11 for the Weaver, who's top of the board. At least that's working out in Chibiusa's favor. They really need that Weaver to be ahead of the curve if he's going to carry. And he got a, I think, 6-minute minus, and that accounts for all of his level advantage plus some. So if he did not have that minus right now, he'd actually be leveled below both the Nature's Prophet and the Shadow Fiend. The Nature's Prophet also taking advantage of a... He's gotten 2 uses, I think, out of that minus. Maybe 3, not probably 2. So, Nevermore, not sitting on top of Midas as far as I know. No Midas, so he is just straight up farming himself up into the top hero levels. And he would be top hero level if there were no Midases on the board for sure. No question about it. He is dominating his lane in a way that is going to make him really, really scary. I've been saying all game that there just has not been a successful rotation. That is due to his good map sense, but not just that. There's been great support play coming out of especially the Shadow Shaman, who has been rotating around exactly where he needs to be all the time. He's sitting on top of 2,100 gold, as is the Weaver. So Weaver is going to be getting up a Linken's, I assume. And Shadow Fiend could turn that into a Blink Dagger if he wanted to. I suspect he'll probably go for some damage instead. Don't usually see the Blink Dagger build anymore. A nice phase shift didn't quite end up giving him the phase through the raise gate that he needed. And they're going to pop down this tower. I don't see any... Yeah. With that ult there's nothing they can do. They might as well just let it go. Puck trying to get a couple creeps out of it. They also need to defend the bottom tower, though. It's also going to go down. They're going to deny this here. Yeah. Gyro running away. Doesn't want to tank. For the first time all game, decides not to tank something. Gives up the tower deny. Probably the right call. He didn't know who was TPing in. There was the Nature's Prophet, who he probably would have taken one-on-one in the tower, quite honestly, at this stage. But Weaver now sitting on 27 gold, 2,700 gold. He might be going straight for a Radiance. Sitting at 14 minutes. If he gets that up before 18 minutes, which he isn't going to at this rate, he's only on... Yeah, it's definitely going for Radiance at this point. And still, if he gets up that even before 20 minutes, that's a fast, for this level play especially, that's a fast Radiance. That'll be good. Radiance, not going to be enough to carry out a game against a Gyrocopter and an Evermore. The heroes that they do have that are squishy aren't as squishy as some other heroes. There is some action going on somewhere, so I'm seeing a lot of health drop. Yep. Okay, so we do have the Dream Coil down on 2, and the VS is going to go down to Gyrocopter. Papa Burr asserting himself, and we're also going to see the Puck go down. Abaddon doing what he can, still level 5. That hurts. He is at -3, even with the Midas. The Nature's Prophet is sitting at negative gold. Not what you want to see out of a 3-use Midas Nature's Prophet, who's supposed to be semi-carrying. Absolutely horrible. He had a really rough lane, and Abaddon needs to get out here and just get near a creep. Any creep. Anything that dies. Creep. Hero. It could be a plant at this point. A strong wind will knock him up to 6. There is the ult coming down to Papa Burr. It's not going to do too much, but Puck is going to go ahead and try to get this Darkseer. He's going to auto-attack once, going to auto-attack twice, and then he's going to back up. The Shadow Fiend diving in deep. There is going to be the Nature's Prophet trying to keep him still. He's got his Shadow Blade up. Goes Shadow Blade and Blood instead of Blink Dagger. Pretty common build. We are going to... Oh, nice phase shift into a Jaunt, saving his life. And that's what I'm talking about. That Abaddon needs to get near a Sea Breeze. He needs to get near a bar fight. Anything. A gerbil that dies in a cage. Something to get him up the extra 10 EXP to his final level or his not final level, hopefully. His ult, first level, will do wonders for this team fight. They're sitting at 10-3 now, and they have worse late game. This is starting to feel like a foregone conclusion. I'm not going to start talking Iambic Pentameter quite yet, but they are... Team Chibiusa is really being run against the wall here. Let's take a look at net worth. Yep. Weaver is doing all right, but he's no longer top of the board. He's below 2. Stronger carries. And they don't have a fallback carry. VS, not doing that well. Otherwise, I would say, yeah, this is going to be a dead puck. He has Orb and Jump, but he can't do anything about it. And it's also going to be a dead Abaddon, who still hasn't gotten 6. Oh, it wouldn't have saved him there, but... And now the creep, now tower's down. This is starting to feel a lot like the opposite of what we had last game for Chibiusa. 12-3, and they are really being run down. They picked a really risky draft. They got a lot of people who can semi-carry. VS could have semi-carried, and Nature's Prophet could have semi-carried, and I've even seen people try to Abaddon semi-carry to some success. But none of those people have any farm. All 3 of them are, last time I checked, Nature's Prophet does get a kill on Shadow Shaman somewhere by TP in, I assume. Weaver's down here as well. Yeah. So, all 3 of those last time I checked went negative net worth at over 10 minutes into the game. That's pretty atrocious. Darkseer goes down to TCH Tabo. That's nice. Missing a couple of the action plays here, and I apologize for that. We do have some nice warding coming out of the Radiant. Opening up a farm lane, which is nice here. With the Rune Ward. Need to have at least one of those. I'm kind of surprised they don't have it over on Roche at this point. Radiant is not very far away from just walking in there and taking it down. They have 1 tower down and 1 down. Yeah, this tower's almost at full health. They don't even have a tree or anything. There's just been no damage down here. Trina had to abandon the lane. Probably should have abandoned the lane way before he did. Weaver's going to try and do some damage. Doing actually a pretty good job of it. He does have a Desolator. I've decided not to go for the Radiance after all. Just flat out bought the Desolator. I have to say, I think that's a much better pick. If he had gotten that Radiance up maybe at like 14, 15 minutes, okay, maybe. But I'm not, and granted, I don't know that Extravagant was planning on going Radiance, but he was saving over 3,000 gold at once, which you normally don't see unless somebody's trying to save up for a really big ticket item. Otherwise, he could have bought a couple Mithril Hammers beforehand. We're seeing some pinging top. Just in time for me to miss Nature Prophet going down again. Nothing new there. Shadow Fiend sitting on top of 7 kills. Has he died at all? 1 death. Full souls, I'm sure of it. Yep, full souls. There's a mechanism up on the Darkseer. Yep, mechanism and soul ring and mana boots. So Darkseer feeling pretty confident with his ability to support. I would imagine he's going to go for Naganums next. Just pump out as much damage as they can. Throwing out a Howl. I think that's called Howl. Wave of Terror, excuse me. Yep. There's the counter warding on the high ground. That ward is going to be contested for the rest of the game pretty much. Both teams know that ward is pretty necessary for Chibiusa to be able to get into the jungle. If they don't at least have this counter warded, if they can't be secure and safe that there's no vision there, then they can't come anywhere in this area. Especially against a Shadow Fiend that has a range, or not a range, excuse me, a Shadow Blade. He can't go anywhere. He can't do anything. Nor they can't go anywhere or do anything. They're going to come up and counter ward this right away. And now we're going to go and see. They're not. I would not expect an observer to go back up there. They don't necessarily need the vision. They just need to know that there's not vision up there. And they're going to move in as for and just wreck this VS who had no security. Trying to counter ward as best as she could. Thought about backing up there. I saw a stutter step. She wanted to back up, but she missed her last attack because of the high ground differential. And just couldn't get out. She's sitting only on level 6. Abaddon presumably has hit 6. Yeah, just 6, so not even up to 7. At least he's got 6. 15 for the Weaver. Shadowblade finally up on Nature's Prophet. But he's not going to be able to do too much ganking. I don't know if that Shadowblade is the pick I would have gone for. It does give him a little bit of survivability. But he's not going to be normally what you want. Okay, there is going to be the tree here, and the Shadow Fiend is going to go down. That was a nice gank. It came out of the teamwork between these two. Either one of them probably wouldn't have been able to get that. I think, let's see. Oh. Yeah, dust coming out of Nature's Prophet, not the Weaver. So the Weaver couldn't have gotten that kill because he didn't have the dust. And the Nation probably couldn't have gotten that kill because he isn't pumping out the damage. He would have died. So they needed both just to take down the Shadow Fiend. And it was a nice pickup. Now the Shadow Fiend has to get half of his souls back, which is a big deal unless Shadow Fiend just comes out and wrecks a hero and gets all the souls back from a hero kill. Weaver's probably going to get a kill here. Nope, the Shadow Shaman coming in and Gyrocopter out of Fog of War. He had no idea they were there. There's the chicken, and he does manage to Kuchi out. Now the wall is down, and it is kind of wasted. The Puck is going to try and get away. There is the Dream Coil, and there is a Black King bar up on the Gyrocopter. Oh! Beautiful play out of Misha. Wonderful phase ship in the jaunt. Dodging in between the two call-down rockets and managing to survive. I had called this Black King bar earlier in the game, and I recanted it because I did not think that it was the item that really would have worked well the best against this Radiant side team. I stand by that. I think that he probably should. He does have the Yasha phase boots that I was suspecting. If he didn't want to go for straight lifesteal, which I think is probably the way to go, he probably should just gone for damage because he's not in danger right now of dying. Really, very much at all. I don't know how many times he's died, but it's not much. Once. He could be. He's already a terror. 160 per hit, flak damage for 1,000 damage in an AOE. He's an absolute terror to all these level 6, level 7 supports that Chibiusa has. But if he had more damage, he would be killing supports off in 3-4 hits. Puck can only phase shift through 1 or 2 of those. So Puck has to phase shift and jaunt out of fights if he's pumping out that kind of damage, and it's just horrible. It would just be horrible. So gotta say, I'm not... Okay, there's going to be some action here. So 4-step on the Darkseer. Deciding to go straight up. Oh, taking a little bit of damage. Both teams kind of backing up. The Shadow Shaman wants to make something happen, but Tribute to Jordan not able to make it across the river. Fictional river. Figurative. It's a metaphor. The river was right there. I mean, this river. This is more of a Mississippi. Alright. Sorry about that. Just trying to cast through a little bit of lag here. Weaver is going to Shikuchi through, and then a nice ult, getting him away. Man, there's going to be a lot of TPs out. Yeah, everybody from Chibiusa TPing out. TPs are down. If they wanted to split push this, send Gyro one direction and send the rest of the team the other direction. Gyro does have a Black King bar, as we had pointed out already. So he's pretty safe. He's also got a TP. So if he Black King bars and TPs out, there's not a whole lot that that Chibiusa could do about that unless they were to straight up swap and DPS them down. So split push here while TPs are down could be effective. Could get maybe half a tower out of it. They want to take Roche, it looks like. There is going to be a TP reaction to defend here, and that's going to be... Gyrocopter is going to have no problem flash farming all these creeps. Yep. 3 seconds, they're all down. Thanks for the gold. Appreciate the mail order. Shadow Fiend farming out mid. There's a smoke, and that's going to be Roche. Smoke. Yep, they're going to go straight into Roche off that smoke. Here it comes. They did smoke up. On top, maybe they're not smoked up. I thought I saw. Yeah, there is a smoke at deceit. Shadow Fiend took off the smoke. Guess he has a Shadow Blade. A lot of heroes jumping in, even though they blew the smoke. They blew it on top of creeps, and then a lot of the heroes just got rid of it. So now Dire is aware that this is happening. They know, presumably, they should have a sense of this. They don't have vision, but they saw the smoke attempt here mid. And they probably have a sense that this is going on. Puck is going to be caught out by Shackles. He's chicken. And that's all she wrote. Now there's going to be a long sun coming out in this Abaddon, who has managed to claw his way up to level 8. Kicking and screaming the whole way. He's got to back out. And Gyrocopter's just going to go into Roche. She's not even interested in this fight. They're not baiting out this fight. They're straight up not. They're disinterested. They're not scared of it. They're running in. Shadow Fiend going in and out of Roche. They're approaching this fight. Yeah, just auto-attacking down. Weaver is doing a fair amount of damage to Shadow Fiend, who has also picked up a Black King bar. there's going to be the chicken out on the Abaddon. And Abaddon's ult is popped. Weaver is going to try and take out Shadow Shaman, who was defensively disrupted. Shadow Shaman does go down. Weaver is going to try and do as much damage. He's going to Shiguchi here and get a kill. Doesn't need to. Puck manages to get the kill. Yeah. Gotta say, there's the ult coming out. Shadow Fiend, he's going to take down the Weaver. No! The second ult, not enough! Shiguchi keeping that last auto attack, which would have killed him off. And they're going to take Roche out of this. This is huge for the Dire. Yeah. Radiant took to that fight the same way that I take to getting rid of fruit flies in my kitchen while I'm cooking. Go back to the soup, stir it a little bit, see a fly, chase it around for a little bit, leave, go back to the soup, see the next fly, and there's going to be another kill for the Dire. This is enormous. Weaver's now going to be pumping out some serious damage. He's got 3,100 gold, and he can buy the next item. He's already pumping out 200 damage a hit, plus armor reduction. He shouldn't, and he's managed to get himself up to highest net worth. He shouldn't have been able to. This, honestly, without a misplay, this team should not have been able to get this Weaver out in front of the Shadow Fiend and the Gyrocopter. So, resting on their laurels just a little bit too much and underestimating their opponent, as Sun Tzu long ago warned against. Underestimating the opponent and allowing themselves to just be split here. One here kind of chasing here while the other one was roaching. Then Gyro chased up here while Shadow Fiend was roaching. Shadow Fiend chased back up. They all just kind of wanted these solo kills. If they had just grouped up and chased down the Dire with the ruthless bloodthirstiness of a Mongol horde or something, they would have won that fight for sure. The Dire just is not pumping out, or was not, at least at that moment, pumping out the damage to justify that. Now there's a Shadow Blade up. There's also an Ultimate Orb up. Is that going to be a Shiva's Guard, I wonder? Coming out of this Nature's Prophet? Puck's had his Blink Dagger up for a long time. Grabbing a point booster. Probably going to be an Aghanim's pickup. Coming out of the Puck. That's either misspelled lame or misspelled llama. Not sure. Llama. Coming out of the... Or maybe I'm just having trouble reading. So, for those of you at home, and Super J, my co-caster, wondering if I'm going to play with him a little bit. I will get back to him in a little bit. We do have a Smoke of Deceit coming out. 3-man Smoke of Deceit coming out. None of the damage heroes with them, though. Weaver not there. And nice Force Staff off the Shadow Demon. A lot of Force Staffs coming out this game. I haven't really seen any swap coming out of F. Well, as I said at the beginning of this game, I've been very impressed with him so far today. Swap level 1, not really the strongest move, though. Doesn't have very good range, especially if you don't have any Ghanim's, which he hasn't been able to farm up. He's barely been able to farm an Eraser. Been doing a good job of keeping wards up, these supports, but they do not have very much net worth. They are managing to claw themselves up the ladder, and meanwhile, Weaver is counter-pushing the same way that Nature's Prophet should be, and Nature's Prophet is also counter-pushing, but he's not going to stay for this. He's going to go back and defend, I assume. He's going to get... Is this going to be Sheepstick, then? Yeah, Sheepstick. He's going to get a Mithril... yeah, there it is. Okay. All right, why did I say Mithril Hammer? Excuse me, Mystic Staff is what I wanted to say, but he had enough. I hadn't checked his gold. He had enough to straight up buy it. That Sheepstick is huge on him. He's not doing a lot of DPS, but his disable at this point... Can't... I probably would have liked to see... Yeah. As I was going to say, I would have liked to see a different item instead of the Shadow Blade. Shadow Blade saves his life. So it does have its advantages. I would have liked to see an Orchid instead of a Shadow Blade up on this Nature's Prophet early. Extra damage and disable. Essentially stops that Gyrocopter in his tracks. Silence him out before he can do the flat cannon. And give him extra damage. Silence out the Nevermore so he can't cast his ult. Or silence out any of the supports and make them absolutely irrelevant in a fight. The Sheepstick up now is great. Kind of expect to see an Orchid coming out next. I do have some lag. There is going to be casual orb cast off by Misha, excuse me. And then the shackle, and he goes down. Probably not worth that orb. And the nice force staff disruption out on the vengeful, who gets caught by the first rocket, not the second, but the rocket barrage is going to finish him off. Maybe, no! Beautiful mist coil coming out of Tabo. Now the ult is going to get him, and perfectly placed to take a tower. Hey, I'm here, why not? Weaver's going to try and base race here, and he's got a head start, and he's got Nature Trouble with him. They are going to take a Rax here. I don't know if there are TPs up. Yeah, there are not TPs up. This is going to be a good old-fashioned hog race. They're going straight for. Of course, Nature's Prophet can TP back if he needs to, and he has a TP to hand the Weaver if Weaver needs one. Weaver rotating around to the top. He's going to bust down this tower, too. Link Dead also rotating around to the top. And, oh, no, no, no. Radiant just taking the Rax and walking home. Maybe. One TP back. Who's it going to be? Shadow Demon goes down. In the fallout. A double Rax trade for single melee Rax. This is the makings of an extremely impressive turnaround from Chibiusa. I'm not gonna lie. I would not have expected this at all. You all heard me saying that the writing was probably on the wall. The game wasn't over, but it was going to be a hard road to victory. Just a couple of really bad. I hate to say it, but there's just plain misplays and arrogance coming out of C here. The Radiant side, this Roche fight was absolutely devastating to them. They're just back and forth, and now here they're all out with no TPs. Or one TP, excuse me. While they know there's a Nature's Prophet on the team and a Weaver who's split pushing. They know that's out. And then they end up walking back even though they know that they're going to lose 2 racks regardless. They probably should have straight base raced and just tried to do it. They still have the damage to take out the Nature's Prophet. Weaver is trouble, and he is probably sitting on top of a pretty significant, 6-0. Extravagant has made himself troublesome at this stage in the game. But, and he does have his Black King bar up and his butterfly up. That Weaver's going to be near impossible to kill at this point. Straight skip Lincoln's because he's carrying instead of supporting. I like that call. The Black King bar, like that call against this team. There's a lot to defend against, especially that Shadow Shaman, Shadow Demon combo. A Black King bar pretty much shuts him down. Shadow Demon, nice against the Black King bar because you can at least slow a hero normally, but since you can slow Weaver and then you can Shikuchi, it doesn't matter. So, for Weaver in particular, a Black King bar against the Shadow Demon is a stellar item choice. Much better than the Lincolns that would have otherwise come out. Yeah. Whew. And now the shoe is on the other foot. Santa's making toys for the elves here, guys. We see a pretty hopeless looking plight for the Radiant. The one thing I will say, and I've been saying this all game, Radiant has a better late game team. Shadow Fiend and Gyrocopter carry harder than Nature's Prophet and Weaver maxed. Played by equivalently skilled players, the team, if both teams are allowed to go until they max, which they're still a distance away from. If both teams are allowed to go until they max, Radiant should win this. They should even be able to win this at a Rax disadvantage. Maybe not against Megas, but at a Rax disadvantage. But they've got to get there. And it is a long uphill battle. This is the type of uphill battle that I get stories of from my grandfather before he talks to me about payphones, you know? This is not child's play. And they're trying to push out this lane. This is a pretty cheeky move by the Abaddon. He throws up the FedEx shield to keep the creep wave exactly where it is and try to move it out a little bit farther. What that will end up doing is meaning a few of the creeps end up making it up, because normally what you get is the creeps will come up to a line and then fall back a little bit and come up farther and then fall back to where they were and come up farther and they railroad track up. And what ends up happening there is you get more catapults and more wizards, which does more damage. But you can push up faster by preventing your creeps from taking damage in that sort of way, or have hero tanking. That's what you essentially do when you hero tank. If you have somebody who's flash farming a lane and doesn't let the creeps tank any of the damage, you essentially get this straight ladder movement from the creeps, which means you end up with less damage out of creeps when you get to towers, but you get there faster. So it's really great for choke holding, which is exactly what Chibiusa wants to be doing here. They essentially, if they can take this tier 2, they can get an absolute smother hold. Right now, this tier 2 gives at least some semblance of map control. And I'd like to point out, too, that this rune spot is what that rune spot had been, is what this one up here had been a minute ago. I'm surprised we're not seeing more. Oh, that did go down. I'm not surprised we're not seeing more contestment on that rune spot. With this vision right here, and then a ward right there to give vision behind this tower, this would be an absolutely dead tower. Absolutely destroyed. With that kind of behind vision, and there's no safe gateway into the jungle at that point. You can't go through this way. You can't go through that way. You have to pretty much go all the way around if you want a safe pathway into the jungle, which is inexpedient and also not safe because you've got to run through the creeps. So the smother hold that Chibiusa is doing its job. The one downside to this kind of strategy, forcing the creeps to stay on the other side, is that you're giving farm to the turtling team. You are forcing creeps into a position where they can farm them more easily. So they will get faster farm, and this Roche is exactly what they need. Alright, getting rid of the Midas, pulling himself up, getting more damage. He's going to have an Aegis here. Yeah, this should be it. There's going to be another fight here at this tier 2. Dire does not seem to be looking to drop any vision here. They're just going to man mode this. They know that Weaver pretty much can't die. That Weaver could at least 1-on-3 any 2 people on their team. So this is going to take a lot of coordination coming out of the Radiant, and hopefully we'll be able to see it. Maybe not. There is some movement up top. All right, there's a shackle. And the Weaver's doing a lot of damage. There's going to be a call down. And Shadow Fiend does manage to take down the Nature's Prophet, but he is Dream Coil. He walks off after his Black King bar is worn off. Gyro is down to about nothing, and the Weaver did go down. I heard the Aegis, yeah. Weaver's going to go down again. I am proven wrong. Oh, that's a 4-man wipe. A 5-man wipe out of Chibiusa. A little confident there. I didn't see the entire fight, but one person did get counted out. The vacuum wall pulling a couple apart, and they essentially got split up. That Weaver should have been able to take out both the Shadow Fiend and the Gyro 1-man on. He probably should have gotten his items before they went into that, and I believe he's got, yeah, he should have gotten that Monkey King bar together before they went in there. There was no reason not to. They're going to lose a range racks here, but the Radiant not able to take advantage of this. A huge team wipe. They are going to try and get at least a ranged racks. It's not nothing. It's a consolation prize. They've got to back out here, though. Yeah, they've got to back out. Abaddon able to scare them off, but Weaver's hanging out. There's a lot of pinging. Weaver's going to be definitely, even without the Aegis, Weaver can definitely take both of these 2 guys. He's going to be TP back, and he's the interesting Surge TP combo. A little bit of the new meta. After he casts the Surge, he is going to go and mech himself back up. He's going to Surge, and now he's going to run with it. He's going to be taken down, though. That Surge, he should have... I'm not sure what he was thinking there. He should have surged and ran away that way. Did not. If he had gotten around out of sight, maybe scooted around over here with that surge, he would have gone away. No problem. But instead, he surged himself, which does not do that much when you're standing still. Decided to TP instead. Somebody probably told him, you need to TP right now. It was probably a missed call. Should have used that surge. Would have gone away. Not the end of the world. He might be back up by the time this push comes in, but yeah, they are going to lose the tier 2. That Darkseer was extremely necessary for that last defense. He vacuumed in. There is going to be a call down here mid. Seeing some drawing going on here. I'm not sure what the glyphs mean, but there is Nature's Copter down. Shadow Fiend goes down, and Gyrocopter is sitting here at full health. But Weaver is also sitting at full health. This BKB is down though, so Weaver can be caught out. There is going to be, oh, a nice defensive swap. Baden, who doesn't really have to worry about it because he's got his ult. Abandons ult, he's back up to full health. And now the Gyrocopter does manage to take down the Weaver. And we do see the Darkseer back in here. There's a lot of glyph going on. Is this me doing this? I'm not sure. There's a TP attempt. Nice play out of this Darkseer once again, making himself absolutely vital. A little, I like to give him a little bit of, oh, they're going to go ahead and have the Shadow Demon. I'm not sure the Shadow Demon can defend against all these creeps. Ah, no problem, Obscurity. Confusing me a little bit. It's not the end of the world. If you see anything, feel free to circle it for me. I'll make sure to comment on it. Yeah. Back to what I was saying, this Shadow Demon is not going to be able to defend against these creeps. Great hero, not exactly the best for, and now they do have Tribute to Jordan here as well. This is going to be a push in. 45 seconds and the Weaver does not have buyback. I do not believe. Yeah, 235. They're going to lift. They're going to lose to tier 4s. This has been an up and down roller coaster ride. Always, or just about always, since 20 minutes, in the favor of the Dire. Yeah. Without Weaver, they can't defend this. And if they're in the traditional, well, Shadow Fiend goes down, being greedy again. Now Gyrocopter has to back out. Jeez, and there's the swap. He's going to go down as well. My goodness. These two carries. Gyro, buddy, Ultra Gay Bulbasaur. I need to see you camera 3, guys. All right, I'm going to pull you over here in the corner. All right, you guys need to work as a unit. You're pumping out more damage than these guys can handle, but not if you do it one at a time. You've got to work as a team. You could have had the game there. Once again, that was your moment to shine. And you, I just hate to see it. I hate to see it. Now the game is up in the air again. There's a full 5-man up on Chibiusa, who do have a kill disadvantage, but have had a gold and EXP advantage for a long time, although that gold advantage is swinging. And the EXP advantage is swinging significantly, too, after the 5-man wipes that have been occurring. And the wipes on Weaver, more importantly. Weaver getting greedy. Jumping in. Without a Lincoln's. And he didn't even pop his BKB there. He got shackled out before he could. Or, excuse me, he ended up getting chickened out and then shackled out before he could pop that BKB. He went in there with Nature's Prophet. At least the 2 damage dealers went in together. Nature's Prophet went Necro Book instead of the, excuse me, instead of the Silent Stick that I was expecting or hoping that he would go. Can't say I'm a huge fan of that. That Necro Book is going to help with split pushing, but honestly, split pushing isn't their problem at this stage. Their problem is, yeah, it's just pushing. They only need to push one side. In fact, they don't need to push this lane. They could just come in this side if they really wanted to. If they're going to be wiping at a tower, they might as well just, like, these creeps are perpetually in here. If they left just Nature's Prophet to split push this and had the rest of their heroes come in here, yeah, this is a bare Ancient. I do not understand what their obsession is with this tier 2 tower. I'm not sure what this tower did to them. I'm not sure what it said about their mothers. I'm not sure what it did to their fathers. I'm not sure what role it played in the international banking crisis of 2008, but they have a vendetta against it. And instead of going for the Ancient, they are going for that tier 2, and they'll be damned if they don't take it down. In the great name of Canada. Fun fact, Canadian team, I believe. North American team, at least. And once again, they're pushing out this mid lane. Obviously, they have to push out this mid lane to a fair point, or they can be pushed in. But if they do have some split pushing going on here with this smart, get the other split push going on down here, get these creeps up to about here, have everyone have TPs, and just come in the sides. Just do it. Rotate in the sides. If the Radiant does pass this line, everyone TP back to defend. Take a fight there. They're not going to be able to push out while you're in their base on 2 sides. They just can't do it. This tier 2 does not have the importance that the Radiant think it does, and or that the Dire thinks that it does. The Radiant, obviously, it's important to them. They have to assemble and defend it because that's the only lane advantage that they have. They want to be pushing this. I am getting some messages here from Super J. Excuse me. Nothing going on here. Sorry about that, guys. And the side's pushed in again. This has been a 46-minute long game, and it feels like a lot longer. This feels like a game. I mean, this is a game that has been ended 4 times, twice for each team. And respawn on Roshan 1, that's going to be cheese as well. I know I said this before, but if one of these teams gets that should be game. It really should. Aegis and cheese. I mean, these teams are starting to get close to the point of being maxed. You could drop the Mask of Madness. This is obviously going to become Butterfly. You can drop the Mask of Madness for a Satanic and drop the Treads for Travs if you want to, but honestly, he doesn't because of the attack speed from Treads and the extra life. Drop the Shadow Blade for more damage if he wanted to. He doesn't really need it at this point. So I guess he does have a long way to go, but he is 6 slotted at least. It's not a lot. Yeah, there's going to be a big engagement here. There's a Dream Coil, and Shadow Fiend is just taking through it. He is chopping wood down here. Shadow Shaman went down. Consolation prize for the Dire. Chibiusa now starting to get the drift. They're picking up on my psychic messages. You got to apply more damage to the sides. Apply pressure to the sides, man. It's like opening a child's Advil bottle. You got to apply pressure to the sides. Weaver has picked up his Travs, and that's probably a Max Weaver. Yep. Well, he's going to sell those, obviously. So he has 1 slot left, and he's hoping to get that on. Yep. The Roche. He's going to pick up that. There's going to be cheese on the Abaddon, which is also bad news. And the nice thing about this Abaddon, Abaddon has so much ability to maneuver and take punishment that when Weaver's Aegis goes down, he can force staff himself right next to Weaver and just sit there. Be pretty happy doing so. Hand the cheese off to Weaver, soak up as much damage as he can, and Weaver can get another life. So with good teamwork, this Weaver has 3 lives here. 4 if you include time-lapse. And if he uses time-lapse on his first life, uses Aegis, uses cheese, he'll probably have time-lapse up again before his next life is over. So killing this Weaver is going to be trouble. I know I've said it before. He's been a little overconfident like a lot of people in this game. But at this point in time, if there's good coordination from this Abaddon Weaver combo between Aphotic Shield, Black King Bar, Aegis, potentially Cheese, Time-Lapse 1, potentially Time-Lapse 2, and through all of that, potentially Black King Bar number 2, what do you do against that? They absolutely have to lock down this Weaver, and they've got to pick him out. The Radiant have been able to last this long at the disadvantage that they caused for themselves. There is a smoke up here. They're going to try and pick somebody off. And it's going to be Darkseer, who has been so vital for these fights. Yeah. It's taking about a block of damage. A little over a full... Yeah, a little over 16% of his health per hit from Weaver. So, we're talking 8, maybe 9 hits on Darkseer. There is going to be the casual disruption coming out on the Puck. Just trying to make him reconsider coming into the base. Radiant's just trying to make this last as long as possible at this point. They're trying to max out. Yep, there goes. He is going for that Satanic, and he is going for that Manta style. As far as this goes, yep, this is going to be a Deadlink Dota. Shadow Fiend just ripping through him. The negative armor coming off this Shadow Fiend, not to be underestimated. He's doing way more damage than it looks like he's doing, and it looks like he's doing metric crap ton. His whole team's doing more damage than it looks like they're doing. It's worth bearing that in mind. I think it's -8 armor coming off of his skill right now. And if I had a little bit less lag, I would check that. There is going to be the chicken up on Nisha. And now they're forced to retreat. There's a nice stun on the Shadow Demon. And Darkseer's going to go down here as well. He gets a vacuum off first. Not going to do that much. There's the wipe on the Gyro. Thanks to the Shadow Blade. They are going to get the Shadow Fiend away. I don't know if that's going to be too much. There's not a buyback. Yep, there's going to be a disconnect too from the Gyro, who had buyback. I don't know that they would have been able to defend against this. I mean, not with the Aegis. Even if the Gyro came up. Yeah, good of them not to pause. No reason. Probably could have called GG there. But that was really hard fought. A really good game coming out of both teams. A lot of aggression. A lot of confidence. Maybe a little too much confidence coming out of all the carry players in this game. There was a lot of Weaver running in with Nature's Prophet. Granted, they usually would do so together, though Nature's Prophet got cut out quite a few times. A lot of those two running in and just being outmatched because of the disable coming out of May and tribute to Jordan mostly. Great support play coming out of Jacquin. I have to commend him absolutely for his play. He was vital for both of the team fights, which really turned the game in their favor. And really almost secured them this game. A game that either team could have had multiple times. So, what do you say at the end of that other than best team won, I suppose? So, good game to both teams. Commendations and commiserations to the appropriate parties. My name is Gorgon. I am casting here from Broken Link Productions. You can catch me over at twitch.tv/Broken Link Productions. You can go ahead and also check out my website where I've got a gaming blog and just general nerd information on all the things you love at www.abrokenlink.com. You can check out our Facebook at facebook.com/abrokenlink. And you can say hello to me and my fellow casters and fellow Broken Linkers over at Broken Link Media on Twitter. So, thanks for watching, and make sure to check in for future Team Chibiusa games.